project.
Yeah, we've touched on quite a few today already. One thing we touched on was Bohemian Grove, and a movie that Harry and I have both seen recently, made by Alex Jones, Dark Secrets Inside the Bohemian Grove, where he actually sneaks into Bohemian Grove and captures the cremation of care. What a title. A ritual that is performed yearly at the Bohemian Grove by world leaders. They say it's a theatrical production, but
it's mock human sacrifice.
Pretty sick to me.
Yeah, it sounds pretty sick. And we're talking about the head, the movers and shakers, folks, the people at the top of the food chain, the corporations, everybody. They're running the show, and this is what they do for fun, I suppose. I mean, these are supposed to be Christian leaders.
I like to play cards.
Pretty concerned. I mean, and that's why we got this movement together, because we're concerned about this stuff, folks. I mean, this is very frightening. I mean, very frightening indeed. I mean, on our on our home page, right on the front page, we have a picture of Jenna Bush doing the devil hand signals, and the story reads, the headline reads, Illuminati hand signals prevalent throughout the inauguration. We got a picture down a little farther of George W. and the First Lady doing it with two different kinds of signals, and it says it right there. So if you go to our website at harrythomas.nzfreeservers.com, you can see the pictures of that stuff right there on our front page. And in the photo section, we do have the pictures covered by the Associated Press of protests all around the world, pepper spraying. It's actually the police state, folks, and it's really here. Now, the film that you were talking about, Bohemian Grove, tell us a little bit about how you became aware of the Patriot movement, or whatever folks are calling it today.
Well, actually, I can't say that I've ever been pro-government, but I never would dream that the government was actually anti-me. Anti-me as a human being, believing that my life was not worth anything. I was just a slave to the process. And actually, I think if I remember correctly, it happened quite by accident that we had downloaded a movie off Usenet that was a freely distributed movie by George Humphreys. And I watched that movie, and I just started crying because I could not believe that the world could be like that. I don't know if I necessarily believed at the time that the world was like that, but just
I believe that was called the Endgame Illuminati.
Yeah, something.
Actually, I first watched a film called 9/11 in plain sight.
I saw that myself after.
There was, and then that led me to a radio show called The Power Hour, and you can get that on. We got a link to that on our website. It's under the Genesis Broadcasting Network, and started investigating. I know I was concerned about the voting, how nonchalantly they were talking about all the voting discrepancies, especially about what happened in 2000 in Florida, and what a shock that was for the first time in history to have widespread reports of election fraud. And then again in 2004.
And then just to have the press just shrug it off like it was nothing.
Yeah.
There was no in-depth follow-up. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The media was put into place originally to keep the government in check, so the public was informed about what the government was doing, and I don't believe that that's what the media is doing, or the media is working for the government. They are only releasing what the government allows them to release, and if the government says, it's no big deal, that's what the media reports.
Yeah, they want to promote these ideas, and but what's frightening is they do it right in front of us. They have the stories out there, but then they blow them off like it's no big deal, don't be concerned, it's okay. Now, I remember they were saying Saddam Hussein is really bad because he tortured people and all that, and But now it's okay for us to torture people because they might have information about nuclear weapons and this and that. And these stories that are coming out, and with the legislation that is being passed since September 11th, 2001, we started opening up the doors and taking a look at why these things aren't really being investigated. The 9/11 Commission report was basically the PR report from the Bush cabinet. I mean, people can say what they want, but we are not anti-American. We love this country, and we're going to do whatever we can to keep our freedoms that were fought and died for. The price has been paid for it, folks, and more price needs to be paid, and it will be paid. We're going to stop these monsters. Every empire that has ever started getting out of control in history has been stopped by the people. And we are the people, folks, and they're trying to take that away from us. And it's really scary. It's really scary.
It is scary, and that's going back to fear that I was talking about in the last segment, that's how they keep us in check for now. A problem, reaction, solution. I've been hearing that a lot lately, and there's actually a gentleman that came up with a scenario that creates the problem. You get the expected reaction, and then the government creates the solution, which was already created before the problem ever arose. And to keep the people in fear, I mean, we are allowing our freedoms one by one as these new legislations get passed. And we're not doing anything about it because we're allowing them to do it in the name of security. All they have to do is throw another fear tactic. Oh, there's a bomb threat. Oh, there's Chinese in Boston that are terrorists. And all they got to do is keep us in fear, and that'll keep us in check.
Elevating them terror alerts.
Exactly.
Sending them out. Just
keeping us in a perpetual state of fear. So we'll let the government do whatever the government thinks they need to do to protect us, but that's not how the Constitution meant for it to work.
And it's been done before in history. They said it's always been stopped, but sometimes it goes to an extreme.